I've been fortunate that folks usually understand that there is a lag, there's a waterfall, we call it a funnel, whatever we call it. The time goes by as the status is changing. But what I find often in these go-to-market gatherings is like we want to get the reps together with marketing, we get the feedback, of course, and then we're gonna then tell them what's coming. And they never care about what's coming. They're like, this does not change my world for 6 months. I could be fired by then. Yeah. And it's always a challenge to try to keep marketing's perspective downstream and where like it's not none of the marketing really matters until a deal it causes a deal to happen, and sales attention upstream of like these are the these are the signals out on the horizon that are going to be coming your way that you should be thinking about, and stuff we're hoping to push your way, stuff topics we're hoping to bring into the conversation so that you can be like on their neck when the time comes. It's different, that the time lag is difficult, I think, in both directions.
I think it's just understanding that there's an appreciation that there are different lags, right? There's different cycles. The buyer has their own cycle and lag. Marketing has its own cycle and lag. Sales has its own cycle and lag. And we think that they should all be the same. Again, this is part of the lie that we were told over the last 20 years, that these VC-backed companies and these software companies like HubSpot, and I'm sorry to say, but HubSpot, you're wrong. You need to get your shit together. I hope you do. And the same with Salesforce and Marketo and these companies. They've tried so hard over the last 15, 20 years to create this deterministic, linear machine for marketing. And it's not.
Right.
Marketing is non-linear. Marketing is probabilistic, not deterministic, right? Because guess what? It's people that are part of marketing, and people are irrational. We change our minds. We have fear, uncertainty, and doubt. If I don't trust you, I'm not going to, even though you're on my short list, I may not buy from you. Guess what? I probably won't, right?
Yeah.
If I don't like you, even though you're a great brand, and I've been told you guys are great, but my experience has been crap, I'm not going to buy from you, right? And so that's the reality that these GTMs need to be discussing on a weekly basis, and I force them to. It's uncomfortable, and they try to skirt around the issues a lot of the times, but we talk about it. Because if you don't talk about it, it just goes in the back of the mind, and guess who gets blamed when things don't go well? Marketing, right? You should have told us. You should have brought leads in sooner, blah, 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 blah. And then look at the dashboard. The dashboard says that everything's great, but why isn't the revenue here? Well, it's because the dashboard is measuring something that happened 6 months ago, right? The buyer's already way past the dashboard, right? You've got data of when the buyer was hitting, and they're like miles ahead of you already. They've already decided who they're going to buy, and you're now measuring it. And guess what? They're not buying from you. So those are hard conversations to have, but they must be had.
Awesome. We always ask our thought leaders that come on that are, well, you're not really, you're not just thought leaders, because you're also out with your hands getting dirty on the real world, real time in go to market. But what do you feel are the trends, the topics, the LinkedIn post screeds that are overrated versus underrated right now? What's overrated in our conversations versus underrated for our audience?
I would say be very wary of, and again, I'm just as guilty. I've done this, so that's why I'm calling it out. I'm not a saint by any stretch. Is that just watch out for these lead gen gimmicks, these demand gen gimmicks. HubSpot just, a few months ago, they launched this ad, 1,000 prompts, download it now. Like 1,000 prompts for marketing? Who the hell needs the 1,000 prompts for marketing, right? But it's a lead gen tool. It's a lead magnet that they want for their own thing. They're not even thinking about you or I, right? They
Yeah.
just want you to download their 1,000 prompts so you can drown in it, and then the opportunities that you should be working on, you're distracted with this crap. Watch for that stuff, because it's not helping. What I suggest is look for people who are talking about the reality of the world we live in today. People like Mark Stoops, follow him. People like Dale Harrison, he's a data scientist, fantastic resource. Follow him. Liam Mulrooney, another fantastic thought leader. Kerry Cunningham over at Sixth Sense, he used to be with
Yeah.
Forrester.
Yeah.
Fantastic insights from these folks. David Lacombe, another one. Mark Ogney. I can go on and on and on. Ann Handley over at Marketing Profs. She's an amazing content person. She lives and breathes in this stuff. She calls out the BS all the time. So those are people who I would start following, and start reading their stuff, because they're talking, like I said, a truth that is very uncomfortable. And that we need to talk more about that, because the world is not comfortable right now, right? And my advice to anybody who is living in the past, or trying to create playbook, or trying to create campaigns based on what worked yesterday, oh my gosh, stop. Just don't do that, because it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Probably the best thing I can say to those folks is, measurement again is not truth, right? Just be smart about the other thing too is that are these carousels that go on about marketing versus branding. Like, there's a fellow, Matt Georgeson is another one. He's an art director, creative director kind guy. He runs his own agency. Another fantastic resource. So Matt Georgeson, look him up and follow him. He calls that stuff out all the time, right? So if you're thirsty for knowledge, and thirsty for the things that will advance your career and help you unlearn some of these old bad habits that I've had to, and I'm still unlearning, by the way, do that. I highly recommend you do that. If you don't care, you just want to spam people, and you gotta make your sales guy happy. Don't listen to any of this.